So I'm sure you're very aware of the infiltration of these leftist ideologies in the academic setting. And I was wondering or what's your best advice for students like us in discerning between information and theories that are based on valid and reliable research and ideologies that are more kind of just being pushed towards us because they want us to believe those?
And so it is actually sort of important to learn how to read statistics. It's sort of important to learn how to read studies. And you have to spend some time with that stuff and familiarize yourself with that stuff. Because very often studies, for example, just refuse to mention confounds. Right? They'll have a very simplistic analysis of A happens and then B happens, and there's a correlation between A and B, therefore A caused B, for example. That's the obvious one. But usually C caused B. Right? Usually some extraneous factor. Or it could be that the level of significance, that they're playing with the significance levels in a particular study in order to achieve significance, right? Or they're leaving out factors. Here's the thing about academic publishing. So this is a little bit abstruse, but in academic publishing, you only get published if you come up with a significant result. So if you spend a year of your life coming up with a study and the result is insignificant, you now have a choice. You can either file drawer it, right? And you just get rid of the study and say, oh, well, didn't come out the way I wanted. Or you can actually jigger with the numbers a little bit and come up with a level of significance where now you've come up with a brand new study and boom, now you're in an academic journal. Peer review is not actually a wonderfully thought out process. It doesn't work all that well, particularly in the social sciences. So here's what I would say. Your first question, this should be a good place to start. If there is because typically we're speaking about social science here, I assume, right? If there's a social science study and it seems to be a complete rejection of all conventional wisdom developed over millennia, you should think very seriously about whether it's bullshit. And the reason I say this is because accepted wisdom over the course of centuries is in fact a feedback loop. Right? It's been tested and it's been tried over the course of time. It has much more durability than whatever study somebody came up with in the last 37 seconds or so. Right? This is a major distinction that G.K. Chesterton draws between conservatives and liberals. It's the best way to explain it, so I'll just use his language. Right? The basic idea is if you have two people and they're walking across a field and they come across a fence in the middle of the field and they have no idea why the fence is there, the person who is on the left will look at the fence and say, I see no reason why this fence is here, let's pry it up and move on. And the person on the right will say, I'm not going to let you pry up that fence unless you explain to me why the fence is there. You need to first figure out why the fence is there and why it had been put there in the first place, and then maybe we'll talk about whether we need to remove the fence.